As many of you know, state and local law enforcement is precluded by law from taking more decisive action, which is why DOD must. They are the ones who have the ability and the authority to act. Congress, yes, and the president, yes, need to move quickly to expand state and local authorities, powers. But DOD has it right now. Sheriff Golden wrote me a few days ago requesting legislation to empower the state police to seriously protect at-risk persons and infrastructure, and if necessary, bring down a dangerous drone or drones. I am now drafting that bill and will soon introduce it. I want to thank him for that idea. We have every level of government here you met two of the mayors. We have county commissioners, including Tom Arnone, who is the director of the county commissioners in Monmouth County. Ginny Haynes is here. If they would, any of our distinguished leaders who are here would like to say a word or two, and then we'll go to questions. Please, identify yourself as you get there.
Hi everyone, I'm Vicki Flynn, the State Assemblywoman from District 13. I first, on behalf of the state, would love to thank the law enforcement personnel here. The sheriffs in Ocean and Monmouth are exceptional. I think everyone trusts that they're doing everything that they can to make sure that they're going to get to the bottom of it and keep everyone safe. I would also like to thank Congressman Smith for his leadership in making sure that we get whatever legislative changes needed to address this issue. On behalf, I'm sure the other legislators would like to speak, but I know this week we vote in Trenton. All the state legislators will be down there on Thursday, and I can't think of a more important issue than the one right now facing New Jersey, is this drone issue. I know Governor Murphy issued a letter asking for support from the president, and we are going to do the same in the legislature. I know the Republicans are drafting a resolution. I'm hoping we will have bipartisan support, asking for immediate federal funding, federal support, so that this is not left on the shoulders of the local sheriffs, local law enforcement, and our state police. We need more federal intervention because this is definitely a federal issue that is being unaddressed. So I just wanted to make sure everyone understood that. That will be introduced probably Monday, and hopefully on Thursday we will be voting on this issue. I don't know if any of my other state legislators would like to speak on that.
I'll just say a couple of words. Ocean County Commissioner Frank Sadeghi. As the congressman indicated, I think the biggest disappointment here is the fact that we rely on the federal government to protect us. That's one of the main things that they're supposed to do, and they have failed us. We've been talking about this for 3 weeks. When I have a young father who called me 2 nights ago crying because he has kids in the elementary school in Island Heights, my hometown, and he doesn't know if the kids should be in the lockdown mode during the times where they see something in the sky. This is affecting our citizens every day, every night, and this has to stop. The federal government has to stand up to their responsibility and protect our citizens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, first of all, Commissioner Director Tom Arnone, Monmouth County, just on behalf of Chris Smith, I have to personally thank him, because over and over I see time and time again when issues come up, concerning issues come up, alarming issues come up, the one congressman that steps up, and I want to personally thank you, Congressman, for that. I also want to thank our sheriffs, because the average person does not see what's going on behind closed doors, and this collaboration between the two counties there to work together for the safety of the people there. But at the end of the day, this is a federal issue that's being put down on the people that are on the ground roots right here. But if half of the hard work and the discussions that could be done, and I hope they're being done on the federal level that we watch, and I'm sure the commissioners here in Ocean County and myself see what our sheriffs are doing here, we need to have that message put out. We need to have the message put out that this is their responsibility to get the message out, to put safety to people in their mind that they're safe here. So on behalf of, I'm sure, Ocean County and myself, we want to thank our sheriffs, and most importantly, we want to thank our congressman.
Questions from the press?
airport up in the lower Hudson Valley had to be shut down, and Governor Hochul is now on the bandwagon. What do you want to say to the people that are, flying in and out of our local airports where your approach level is much lower that can put you in the flight hazards? And where are we? Have the possibility of just putting a stoppage to private backyard drone hobbyists until we figure out what it is that's going on during the hours between dusk and dawn.
Well, thank you. This crisis really is the ultimate wake-up call to threats posed by potentially hostile drones. As I said before, warfare has been radically changed, and we just look at what happens each and every day in the Ukrainian war and how our own ships have been under attack in the Middle East by drones and missiles. These things are lethal, and we don't know if these are, but why don't we know? And so that's why we're all saying, and I'm glad Sheriff Golden made that very strong point, we can't take actions into our own hands and shoot one of them down. We have a military that has that capability, and that capability resides as close as the joint base. I have spoken to the commanding officer there, the CO, who told me they had that capability. Well, we need to deploy it, and that comes from the top. The Pentagon needs to authorize that. And in terms of the other ideas, they all should be on the table to determine whether or not that might mitigate threat and allow us to see more clearly what is up there so there's no confusion. One of the aspects of the bill that Sean Goldman asked me to put in a provision is all about deconfliction, so that we know exactly what we're looking at, when we're looking at it, and there's protocols in place for that as well. But it's an idea that needs to be pursued. And again, so much clutter of these are a risk to aviation. We know that the mere presence of birds, both my brothers are pilots. One was an A-7 fighter pilot on the Enterprise. The other brother is a helicopter. Cobra he flew everything, fixed wing. But especially for the jets, birds pose a very, very real risk if they are subsumed or go into the engines. What about all these drones? We need to be very careful about what that might do to aviation and the safety of it. So we're here. This is the wake-up call. We've had a month of non-action. I was amazed when Secretary Mayorkas, when he briefed us, and that us means the New Jersey delegation, and the governor put that together, he didn't have a clue. And I said, Houston, we have a problem. And that's why we're all trying to stand up. And for the two sheriffs to do the leadership or provide the leadership that they're providing, we need that kind of can-do attitude in Washington and at the Pentagon. So good points, and we need to follow up on those.
Congressman,
yes.
Janice, ABC7. Just for clarification on the legislation that
yes.
you are drafting, is it to change it so that local and state agencies can act? Right now, you guys don't have that power. Or is it just to receive federal help? Or is it a combination of both?
Well, it would be a combination in that the state police would get the empowerment to really have what Homeland Security should have, what DOD currently does have. And that is the ability to track and bring down one of these drones. Again, they could be so hostile. We got the World Cup, we got Super Bowls, we have all of these other events. Drones pose a very significant danger. We're going to call the Pentagon and say, look how quickly they've responded to any of this. And so we need to stand up that authority. And again, that was Sean's idea, and I really appreciate that he suggested that. And we're going to push it hard. We have a very good chairman of the Homeland Security, Mark Green. He's a very effective guy. And there was just a hearing a week ago by two of his subcommittees, and I was at it, as was Jeff Van Drew and Congresswoman Malliotakis. And we all spoke out on these issues. And Jeff, by the way, couldn't be here. He has a good statement. I hope you'll all take a look at it because he cares deeply as well. But that's what it would do. But other law enforcement would get more training, more resources would be given to local law enforcement because this is a threat. This, think of it as trespassing from the air, And when you think about a military base like Earl having these incursions over their airspace, I talked to the commander there, the captain, Captain Smith. There was one right there at Earl, and there's been several, that was 150 feet away from his people. They took pictures of it. So, this is, munitions, same way with Picatinny, that's a real problem as well. That's what it would do. And I do have with me a list of the exceptions that would be needed to overcome in current law. There are several of them. Again, that precludes local law enforcement from being as proactive as we want them to be, but especially the state police.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for coming out, everybody.